All right. Good morning. Welcome to our show. Appian's here to make it easy. Appian's here to make it easy for every company to be a software company. And these days, every company wants to be a software company. Right? Every organization in the world is looking to software to automate the things that make it unique and different and everything else. Right? Everything we do today, we do in software. And so if you've got an organization, you want that organization to be a software organization. It's a great mission. There are two challenges, and we're going to get you through those two challenges. The first is that that's a tremendous amount of software. Right? One of the biggest problems in IT today is the growing gap between the worldwide demand for software and the relatively flat number of people who are capable of actually making that software. Right? In order to bridge that gap, we're going to have to do something. There's going to have to be an answer. I think it's going to be that we're going to take the developers we've got and multiply their effectiveness. Right? And to some degree, we're also going to take the non-developers and we're going to make them capable of making some code themselves. But the answer is going to have to be somewhere in there, and it's going to be a big problem because this gap is not going to get smaller. It's just going to get bigger. Think of all the software. Not only does everybody run everything in software these days, but now the software is unique, which means you've got to build it again and again. Right? This gap, we're going to have to do something technological to bring it back together. That's problem number one with being a software company today. Problem number two, this is problem number one. Problem number two is that the bar for software has gone way, way up. It used to be that software was a back office phenomenon. You'd use it to cut your costs. These days, software is the battlefield. It's moved from the back of the company to the front of the company. It's become the way you grab new customers and make customer relationships, the way you react to change, the way you express your brand value, right? It's become the way companies differentiate against each other. It's not enough anymore to just write pretty good software. Your software is the essence of your firm and its value proposition. So you need to write great software. The problem is therefore twofold. You need to write software even with a shortage of developers, and you've got to make it great. And this is how Appian is here to help you. We can do these two things. Digital transformation is popular. You saw that chart. 87% of Global 2000 are doing digital transformation, and 47% of them say it's their top priority in 2017. It's an enormously popular concept, but it's going to be difficult to pull off because it means being a software company. And that's what Appian is here to help you do. Appian is going to make it easy for every company to be a software company. That's our mission. You'll see it in the efficiency we give you. You'll see it in the way we multiply the productivity of your developers, and you'll also see it in the quality of the applications you're capable of making. Mission-critical applications, scalable, secure, powerful applications built on the Appian platform. This conference will be full of examples of the things that can be done on our platform, how fast they can be done, how powerful they can be done. This is the confluence that we propose to give to you. We want to be a way that you can make software, but more importantly, we want to be a way that you can make it powerfully and quickly. And year after year, that's what we're here to do for you. All right, that is the Appian mission. There are some companies, some industries, I should say, that offer a static product. Year after year, they're the same, right? A fast food hamburger this year tastes about the same as it did last year and the year before that. Other industries change all the time. Moore's Law, you're familiar with Moore's Law. It's a famous observation of how many transistors per chip you can place, right? On one piece of silicon, they observe it goes up quickly over time. It doubles every couple of years. That's a classic example of an industry that knows how to change. We intend to change. We intend to continue to improve not the number of transistors on a piece of silicon, but we're going to keep improving the productivity of a single developer. We're going to take how much time it requires, how much work to build an application from developing it, deploying it, rolling it out, training it, using it, to put all those things together. We're going to cut that in half every couple of years. We've been doing that. Right, for 2 years, for 4 years, we're on a roughly trajectory like that. We're going to keep doing it. Every year, you're going to see new features. You'll see some in a few minutes. I've got some to show you. Right? We're going to keep hammering away at this value proposition, and it's going to get exciting. You saw the video there. What would it be like if change were cheap? Right? What if it was easy to transform? That's what we're going to do. We're going to work on that, and it's going to be a different world. If you can make change easily, if transformation is something you can do as a matter of course, then that'll really change the way we run our businesses. If you've got a new application to run, you could code it, right? If you got to build a new application, you can code it, or you could low code it. Low code is Appian's industry. It is a platform for building applications without having to code them, right? And it's got a number of major advantages over the traditional method of writing code line after line, right? First, you start with drawing a picture. You start with a flow chart. You can express a lot more that way, and it's a lot easier for someone later on to figure out exactly what you were doing and go back and change it. Everything's an object in the Appian environment. Every rule, every form, every data connection, it's all an object. And so you could use it again, or you could migrate, or you could nest it, or you could change it. And it's so much easier to build application out of like objects, like Lego bricks, than it would be out of lines of code. And if you build an Appian, it automatically runs on every mobile device. Every major mobile device, it runs natively. And when you build multiple applications, they all go together into one combined environment. So the data is accessible to everybody, right? You put all these advantages together, and I'd say you've got an order of magnitude improvement over traditional methods of coding. In fact, I might be being conservative by saying an order of magnitude. You may have seen that Forrester did a study of this industry in 2016, and they determined that the low-code industry had between a 6 times productivity improvement and even a 20 times productivity improvement over traditional methods. And so when I say 10x, I might be quoting it a little low. In fact, in that study, the 20x that Forrester came up with, that was Appian, right? The 20x was us. So 10x and getting better. Now, by the way, if you had a 20 times or a 10 times productivity improvement, and you could make software that quickly and that easily, what would you do? I think the answer for a lot of firms is they'd use it to enter new markets and build new business units. This is a time when making software is a sprint. First of all, because everything we do these days we do in software, you've got to build your new business operation in software. You've got to code it before you can act it out. So a prerequisite for hitting a new market is you've got to write how you're going to behave in software. And yet time is of the essence. You've got to move quickly. And so one of the best things to do with Appian's productivity enhancement is to use it to enter new markets and build new business units. If you want to talk about it, talk to Sprint. They've done it 3 times, right? They've rolled out the direct-to-you function, the densification, network densification with thousands of signal enhancers around the country, and the wireline business, rolled out all 3 on Appian. 3 new business units or business rewrites done on our platform. Every one of them, by the way, finished and rolled out within 6 months. And not all of them have to be greenfield, I might add. The wireline, for example, replaced an existing operation. It decommissioned 200 separate applications. It pulled them out of 2 different clouds, and they turned off every mainframe in that unit. So you can have dramatic slimming effects in addition to greenfield expansion effects when you build business units in Appian. The USDA is responsible for a lot of things, but among them is crop insurance. They do a great deal of crop insurance. They have $110 billion of annual liability with $10 billion in premiums. And in the past, before they used Appian, that was a relatively slow operation, which is to say, it took a long time to create for a farmer to insure their crops. It would be a month or months-long process in order to get that insurance in place. And then if they needed to actually make a claim against that, it would also take about 30 days on average to get the claim back. Now that it's running in Appian, it's faster, it's agile, right? This is the heart of digital transformation, is agility, right? Now, instead of taking a month to get your claim back, it's guaranteed to come back in 3 days. And they've reduced their error rate. They used to make 5.6% of the time missed payments, which isn't outrageous, by the way. The government overall makes missed payments 4.4% of the time. However, they brought their error rate down to 2.2%, so not only are they faster, they're also more accurate. Now, Barclays is older than the United States. You know this. Barclays is 325 years old, and they're still committed to great service. Barclays uses us on both sides of the Atlantic in a lot of different contexts, and I don't have time to go through them all, but I want to talk about just a few of them. So when they do some fraud management with Appian, they do billing errors, they do accidental balance transfers, essentially a lot of reviewing a lot of mistaken operations. They prompt their investigators through a series of questions to determine what it is that went wrong, and then either they resolve it in real time right there on the spot, or they delegate it to the appropriate authority. And they run through this quickly and they handle problems because, of course, it's a very anxious moment for people who just lost their balance or didn't get their billing in time. So they handle this quickly. It's great services operation. It's wonderful to see software become part of the services answer instead of part of the services problem, don't you think? Right? Services in general, I think, have declined. I don't mean Barclays, I mean worldwide. Services from all companies have declined based on a couple of key erosion factors. One was that companies got big. It was possible to be big as a company, and so it was possible to have many layers in between the customer and the decision maker, and I think that just degraded service generally. The general size of companies did that. And then the other thing that did it was automation. Software, sadly, allowed for a trade-off between services quality and cost, a really stark trade-off. And I think generally firms did trade the service quality for cost. And so software was part of the problem, but now, with an answer like this, software is part of the solution. Software is creating rapid responses, better service, right? Prompting good questions and resolving issues. Software we're seeing finally become part of the services answer, and this is just in line with digital transformation, which is all about using software, weaving it into the DNA of the organization in order to be more responsive to your customers, offer better services, and have a better value proposition overall. So Barclays is doing it. Now, we also work at Partner Finance in Barclays, where we rolled out 6 applications in 6 months. So this is a speed example and also a better services example. We're proud to be working with them. Lam Research is a world leader in front-end wafer processing, which means it's one of the stages. There are many stages in creating chips, but if you have an advanced integrated circuit in a device, and you have a lot of them, it probably was processed with Lam equipment. In fact, it's almost a certainty that it touched Lam equipment on its way from raw silicon to you, because they're covering the entire world with this. They rolled out 17 applications in 18 months in order to expedite their ability to innovate on Appian. And some of the things we're doing are the most innovative, right, the heart of their operations. Like, for example, when they evaluate new modifications, new innovations that they can make to their product line, to their methodologies, they're doing that in Appian. When they order new materials, they're doing that in Appian. It's wonderful to be part of an innovative operation like Lam, who knows more than anybody about Moore's Law. The phrase mission critical generally refers to an application whose functioning is so essential that without its success, the whole operation would fall apart. That's mission critical. The OCC is a mission critical organization. Not just their application, but the organization itself is mission critical. This organization, called the Options Clearing Corp, is the world's largest clearinghouse for equity derivatives. They actually cleared 4.16 billion options contracts last year. And as such, they've been designated by the United States government SIFMU, which is to say a systemically important financial market utility. I'm pretty sure that's it, though my ability to remember acronyms is not systemically important. So that's what they do, and that comes with an enormous amount of regulation. It means that our financial system depends on this working, and the government oversees it. They don't run it, but they oversee it. So, for example, OCC has a book of how they clear their options, and it runs more than 216 pages. So if you want to know in minute detail exactly how your equity contracts, equity derivatives get cleared through the OCC, you can look it up, you can read it. And they're not allowed to just change that book on a whim. All those rules are set in stone unless they proceed with a months-long process of proposing and commenting and exposing and rebutting and talking to the government and hearing industry experts. That whole process runs on Appian. And they've got maybe 10 to 15 changes in flight at any given time, and all of that is managed through an Appian environment. I love the way we're working, not just working with OCC, but we're managing this risk for them, right? This is one of the most foundational organizations in the financial economy of the US, and it's great to be right at the heart of what they do. We've also, of course, built a great deal of applications for them. We've built 9. They built 9 on our platform in just 18 months. So it's great to be supporting innovation and mission-critical operations like this. You know, I always talk about some customers in my speech, but that's just the warm-up. What I really want to talk about is the features. So let's move on to the features now. As you know, at Appian, it is our mission to make it so that when you build an application on our platform, that application is simple, intuitive, fast. The process of building an app on Appian should be easy and empowering. And in order to make that happen, we've built a number of modules, graphical interfaces, to allow you to construct the different parts of an application in our environment. Over the years, we've built modules that help you create processes and help you create interfaces and data types and quick apps. And today, we're going to announce 2 more. And here they are. We're going to announce new modules for building decisions and integrations and bring them also into the low-code world and away from expressions. Now, here is our new Decision Designer. We've done some things that are unique in our Decision Designer. We've raised the bar for the whole industry in this new interface. But first, I just want to tell you basically what it is we've moved away from and what we've moved toward. In the past, decisions were done in Appian in the form of an expression. An expression, of course, can be powerful because it's basically code. But an expression is also hard to maintain, and it's hard to search, and it's not usable as an object repeatedly. So we wanted to get away from that. And we wanted to give you a purely graphical way to construct powerful rules. And so that's what this is. This uses no code. This is approachable by anyone. The business can approach it as well as IT, right? This is open standards. Unlike, I'll say it, unlike our competitors, this is a DMN-based open standards decision designer. And it becomes an object, a primary object in the Appian environment, which means you can use it. You can use it to change the way a display reads. You can use it to reroute tasks. You can use it in any way that you would use an object, right? Because now that's what it is. It's no longer a piece of script. It is a top-level object in our environment. If you think of how fast an application has to change, right? Applications change because the workflow changes, right? They change because the logic changes. They change because the interface changes. And they change because the rules change. If you were to rank how fast those things change, absolutely number 1 would be the rules. The thing that changes faster than anything else in the metabolism of your application is the rule set, right? The rule thresholds, they're going to fluctuate all the time. That's the thing that has to be the easiest. And so that's why we built our Decision Designer as the industry's easiest, powerful decision designer. It's not just for IT. Business can use it as well. You need business to be able to do this because only they have the degree of responsiveness to market conditions that allow them to update the rules fast enough to reflect your business's intent. The rules, decision design, decision designers had to be easy enough to be used by business. That was our assumption going in, and we've done it, right? And then also, I wanted to say that decision designers can now be offered, decisions as a service. We're offering decisions as a service. When you build the object in Appian, you can now call it from outside of our environment, and later today we will demonstrate our decision being called as a service to be the source of recommendations for an Amazon Echo fronted voice application. Calling our decision as a service and rendering information based on that through the Amazon Echo. Right. Integration is one of the most universal and difficult parts of building an application. And traditionally, an integration for an app like we would build an Appian meant integrating with major enterprise applications and relational databases. That was your typical. But this is going to change, right? Transformative applications are going to expect more, and we're going to empower it. We're going to empower integration across all these applications as well. We're going to make it possible for you to participate in what I predict will be a renaissance of integration over the next few years. Integration is going to change so much. A couple reasons for that. First, there are incredible features as a service coming online that you will want to integrate into your application. Secondly, the rate of innovation is extraordinary, and you'll want to pull on that. And then third, there's a new culture of openness that makes this accessible, and it makes Appian an ideal arbitration layer to pull these things into your world. So with that, I announce our new integration designer. which is going to help you to integrate not just with enterprise applications and relational databases, but with voice applications and robots and social media and drones and artificial intelligence and many more things. And we're going to be demonstrating it today. You will see today, if you want to stick around and catch our technology sessions, you will see us integrating with Amazon's artificial intelligence and Google's facial recognition and Google's sentiment analysis, among many other things. We've created this, and we're going to demonstrate it to you. Now, a few things about this. We've launched a major new initiative inside of our engineering department to do integration. It's going to be a multi-year cycle. We are focusing on this. We have the first tranche of functionality for you right now, and it's already very exciting. It's enabling all these things, and the demos you're going to see later today, they're real. We have already cut the code it takes to do integrations in half, and you will see that today. That's in the application that we have already launched. It is a smart service. You can use this today. It creates integrations as reusable objects, which means that you can do this in a much more reproducible and portable way than you used to be able to in the Appian environment. And with inline feedback and diagnostics, this is going to be a much easier way to debug and reduce errors than the old scripting approach to creating integrations was. Very proud of this designer. We hope you stick around and see what's possible with it later in the day. We spent a year overhauling the user experience. And if you're on 17.1, which is the most recent Appian release, you already know it. And you know it because your applications are running in our new user experience, and you didn't have to lift a finger. It all happened automatically. You didn't have to change the look and feel. You didn't have to adjust everything, right? It just came online, and now you have this superior presentation without any work. It has a number of great features. I want to walk through some of them. This is an illustration of our new interface. Notice how much more balanced it is, how much better use it makes of space, right? It's also got responsive web in there. So if you've been waiting for Appian to look great on a Windows mobile device, now you can. Now it does. It's 508 compliant. We've got denser tables, right? It's got a much tighter display of information. And it's got a beautiful banner head. Let me show you this next slide. This is our Sites version. The first one wasn't Sites, this is. It got a beautiful banner head. It can be animated. It's a big billboard, we call it. It can be animated, it can be static. You can overlay information on top of it. Notice also the multi-column functionality. You've got infinite columns, however as many as you want, and you can adjust them. You can have different widths. So you can densely fill the screen with information. It's a big step interface-wise. I think it looks wonderful. And I do also want to draw your attention to Sites. Either one of the interfaces, by the way, our regular one or Sites, can be used with that billboard and with the adjustable columns. But I want to tell you, Sites is getting really popular. We announced this a couple of years ago. This is Appian's sleeker interface, more focused interface, right? We've got the regular, which we often call Tempo. We've got that regular Tempo interface for a very high-level overview that gives you access to every part of an application and the environment. Or we've got the Sites interface, which allows you a tight focus and quick navigation between a few key functional areas. Over the 2 years since we announced Sites, we've taken it from a single view to a 5-point alternation. So you got a tab full of 5 destinations. We've allowed pretty much anything to go in those tabs, and we've made Sites a lot more appealing. So now it's brandable. You've got control over the colors, right? You've got more flexibility in the presentation. Sites has grown up. More than 1/3 of our cloud customers today have developed a Sites interface. More than 2/3 of them actually have developed it, but more than 1/3 have it in GA. I encourage everybody to give this a try. For some users, for the focused users, this is our best interface. And I think at this point, I'll declare this a full top-level interface for Appian. This is one of our 2 primary ways to consume the product. We think it should receive full consideration every time you launch a new application. It has been 10 years since Appian first launched in the cloud. We're proud of this. In fact, I was thinking of making this slide a timeline of at what point during the last 10 years our several competitors joined us in the cloud, but I figured that'd be too much. So I just want to say we were early, and the conventional wisdom, when we first went into the cloud, the conventional wisdom was BPM would never work in a cloud environment, but it did. And today, more than 75% of Appian clients are using us in the cloud. And more than 80% of the speakers at this conference will be talking about their cloud experience. Now, I don't put up this slide just to boast. I want to convince you. If you're not part of that 75%, if you're part of the other 25%, I want to convince you to migrate. Migration is easy. Right? Appian allows you to move to the cloud or back from the cloud at will. And so it would not be difficult to move your functionality to a cloud instance, and we'd love to see you do it. It's a superior experience in many ways. We update you automatically, so you'll be on top of the latest innovations all the time. We put together a great security experience. We got terrific certifications. Yeah, we're one of the first in the world to get FedRAMP. We publish all of our security, right, with SOC 3 and right in security groups. You can see what we're doing, and it's impressive, it's substantial, right? It's a lower defect environment. We cut the instance of support calls almost in half if you're running in the cloud. So, and we're increasing the number of cloud locations around the world. We were up 60% last year in number of nations where we've got local cloud. For all these reasons, please give cloud a look. We can make it easy to move there. It's a better experience, and you'll keep up to date. We want to strongly encourage you. And also, you can use our new high availability functionality, which has exceeded even the goals that we set for it last year. You recall I talked about it last year at this conference, said it's going to be our goal to get you a failover that worked within 1 minute. Right? Turns out that failover works in 10 seconds, sometimes less. That failover is so quick, you think the screen froze for a moment, even though an entire server farm just went down, you hardly notice it in the field. The crew at Ryder Truck, who uses us intensively, were so pleased by that they actually flew to our headquarters and bought the developers pizza. We really liked that. There's a lot of customers here. All right, so Appian is a great way to future-proof your enterprise. I think someday we're going to be able to draw a pretty clean line between those parts of your enterprise that are living and those parts that are dead. And what I mean by that is some applications keep up with the times. Some applications stay fresh or are fresh. Other applications are falling behind. And typically, when you build a unique piece of software, the day after you launch it, it begins to fall behind. It begins to get old because it only works on the device you wrote it for. And it only works with the interface paradigms that were kind of popular at the time. And it doesn't integrate well with new applications. It starts to fall into the past, right? It's a dead application. It's my belief that enterprises in the near future are going to start insisting not just that all their applications are fresh, but that they stay fresh, that their applications are living applications. I was speaking to somebody just yesterday at the Leadership Council, and they said, the new paradigm is you work to build an application, and then right after it goes live, you start the next sprint, right? Because it's got to change. You got to make the next change, and it's going to stay urgent and current and of the moment. It'll never become an anchor. It'll never hold back the enterprise. It becomes a new dynamic piston moving the enterprise forward, right? Nobody's got time to bear the burden of a dead application. We don't want you to have a dead application. When you build an application in Appian, it stays living, it stays current, it's future-proof. There are trends happening. Here are some trends. Internet of Things, AI, robotic process automation, stuff like that. You don't want to miss the train on these things. I mean, these are going to make your applications better, and we're going to be sure that your applications have access to these and the futures trends no matter when the application was written. You write something on Appian, and number one, you can always change it. It's very easy to change in our environment. You go back, you switch the model, you right-click configure. Our applications are not impenetrable like some custom apps are. All right. Secondly, they are naturally kept up to date on every new device. That's our job. We'll make sure that your apps run on whatever the device du jour it is. Right? And then third, we're going to make it easy to integrate with the latest concepts. So if you decide later on you want to bring artificial intelligence to bear on a function that you wrote 5 years ago, you're going to be able to do that because we're going to make it easy to bring artificial intelligence to bear. So I want you to think of Appian as an insurance plan against change, right? As a vehicle into the future. Maybe that's the best way to think of it, a vehicle into the future. We're going to be sure that your applications and your enterprise stay current. Robotic process automation does not look like this. All right. But it is useful. It is useful. Robotic process automation means the scripting and automation of rote tasks on another application, and it's especially useful if that application that you want to script tasks on does not have an easy way to integrate with it. Maybe it's not on web services. Maybe it doesn't have an intuitive, simple API. Maybe it's an old green screen application. How will you get things done on that application? Well, you could use robotic process automation. That's a great way to do it. We have partnered over the past year with a leader in robotic process automation called Blue Prism. And we have to announce today a robotic process automation solution, right, which will help you to leverage the power of RPA. Here's how it's going to work. All right. You're going to use a node. You can get this node right now, by the way. It is available to you free. It is an RPA bot smart service. It is published right now. You can find it on the Appian application marketplace. It is available today. And you can use it to orchestrate the power of RPA inside your applications. Right? Appian still owns the end-to-end process, but when it comes time to leverage RPA, you use this bot node and you use it to call Blue Prism and leverage their automated robotic workforce to handle these applications that would have been difficult to reach otherwise. It's very exciting, and it's real. And I don't just mean it's real as in you can download it. I mean it's real as in we've tried it in the marketplace, and I'm going to tell you about it. I mentioned a year ago a company that we work with, a customer of Appian's, called Aviva. And at the time, I mentioned that Aviva was streamlining their customer service because every call from a customer, say a pension fund client, had to touch a lot of systems. Now, there's a reason for that. Aviva was formed in the year 2000 by a merger of 8 different firms, and since then they've been a world-leading palindromic insurer, and they need to connect back to all the systems that existed in all those organizations because it's not easy to retire them so quickly. They got one call means touching 17 systems, I understand. And so we needed some help, and we got Blue Prism to help us out with this. Appian and Blue Prism tag teamed to divvy up the integrations that we would need to do. Some of them Appian reaches directly, some of them we rely on Blue Prism's robotic workforce, and between the two of us, we're able to handle all of the integrations that Aviva needs and carry the results of that pension fund request back to every system that it needed to touch. If you'd like to hear more about this or see the integration, please visit Blue Prism's booth, which is right outside, during one of the breaks. Cognitive computing, machine learning if you prefer, or even artificial intelligence. It is the theme du jour. The rule is that if you're a tech company and you don't feature this at your conference, you don't get to be a software company anymore. All right? It's very, very popular. All right? But as you know, if you've heard some of my keynotes before, I don't think it's very important whether a technology is powerful. I think a technology is important only when it becomes accessible. And that's what Appian is about. So we're not here to tell you what is the most epic thing a piece of artificial intelligence has ever accomplished. We're here to tell you that you can now leverage artificial intelligence in your Appian environment, and it's easy. To be precise, you do not need to be or to employ an artificial intelligence expert or a machine learning expert or any of that. This is going to run by a wizard. Very simple. 1, 2, 3. You're going to upload your data set. The model will be automatically trained. Now, we are using Amazon's artificial intelligence in the background. Doesn't matter who we're using, but that's what we happen to be doing. You won't need to integrate with them. We'll take care of that. Then you have a machine learning model. We instantiate it inside Appian as a record so that you can manage hundreds of them and so that you can keep a history of them and you can track and see which ones are doing better and that sort of thing. So everyone becomes a record. And then you can use that as an object across the environment. You could use that, for example, to launch new processes. I was talking to someone the other day who's considering using artificial intelligence in a university to figure out which students might be at risk of dropping out. What a great idea, right? Taking all that data, processing it, figuring out intuitively which students are at risk, and then intervening, launching a process. Love the idea, it wasn't mine, but launching a process is what we mean to do with artificial intelligence, right? We're going to use that intuition to play the odds and figure out where you should probably be making a new sales pitch, or where you should probably be making a rescue call, or something like that. So we're going to use it to launch processes. We're going to use it to route processes. A process in motion can be routed different ways depending upon the intuition of the machine learning algorithm you have cultivated. And finally, we can render the recommendation of the machine learning process as a display item so that a human being can assess and decide whether to follow that recommendation. I love that one too, because I love running things back to a person and letting a human being decide, which I think is probably the best way after all. Here's an example of that last idea. You've heard of next best action, right? It's an old idea. And it's a little simplistic, actually, for artificial intelligence, and I grant that. But I just wanted to illustrate what you can do with machine learning in a very familiar context. The idea behind next best action is that it would be for call center operators. It would tell them on their screen what is the next thing they should do. When they get a call or when they make a call, it should say, you should sell this person X, or you should remind them about Y, or you should cancel them as a client because they never paid their bills, or whatever it is. The next action would be prompted. Okay, so in our environment, we're doing more than prompting the next best action. I realize it's a little bit small, but if you can see it on the screen, in the upper left, we're showing the results of several different AI processes. We're letting each one of them offer their best suggestion and the probability of confidence next to it to the operator, who then makes their own decision amongst these several machine learning recommendations. I thought that was cool. It just shows really the very tip of the iceberg of what's possible, though. With artificial intelligence, you'd be working with a really wide range of functions, and it probably would be beyond what you would expect an operator to decide amongst. But anyway, it's exciting stuff. This is going to be publicly available for free on the Appian App Market in about 2 weeks. But it's running today at our booth, so come by and see the demonstration. And we've also got more sessions on it later today. If you stick around here, the tech sessions, you'll be seeing more of Appian's new artificial intelligence processes. We have just launched, like yesterday, a new community site. We've been working on it for a long time. I've wanted to do this. We've finally done it. Our new community site is totally open, which I love. Everybody's going to want to get in on this. You can sign up, you can register, you can participate. We have moved every conversation that existed in the old community, we moved it onto here. It's streamlined, it's a single point of contact, right? So whether you're coming in for tech support or notes on the latest design or to make a comment or to start a thread or whatever it is, this will be your center point. It's going to be really easy to use, and it's live as of now. I hope you register, sign up, see how you like it. And in closing, I want to thank you for being part of the Appian community. So, enjoy the show.